You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_daddy. I think that was the wrong intro. This is the call-in show, 608-501-0718. My bad. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, so let's get started with Omar.
Hey, what's going on? So my firefighter, how y'all doing?
What's up?
Hey, it's been a while. And you might have uploaded the latest Packernet. But if you haven't, I know you've been on vacation, you probably got back. Since training camp started. But I saw that Keisean Nixon was doing the little hold in. So I was like, that's cool. C-Say, get starting reps. I know a lot of people just like cut him. I think cutting him is dumb. He's still a starting cornerback. They'll make him a great one, but he still has worth because he's a starting cornerback. And unfortunately, he's probably our best one. Not counting C-Say or the rookies or anybody else like that. So I would, trade him, whether it's for a late round pick or, I don't want to trade him because I think he's worth more than a 6th round pick, 5th round pick. Because I think that's a good deal, whoever takes him. If you trade a 5th round pick for him, that's a good deal, even though it's only 1 year. But hey, I'm like, use him for, the Vita Vea trade. So I know we just paid our defensive tackle, but we trying to go all in, and not super all in, like give away everything. But if the rumors are true and they want a 2nd round pick and a 5th round pick, I'm like, I'd do that. I think we need to improve the offensive line. So I definitely think we need to get some tackles, but, just tackles, guards, just offensive line in general. But getting a starter of that quality that can stop the run. Then we got our pass rusher. And then you can let Hargrave, I don't want to say cut him every season, but you can just let him go, let the money kick in, and whatever Hargrave is getting, you can give that to them the next season. But, somebody got to help with Parsons being out, and I think that would be awesome. Probably wishful thinking. Maybe not good in the long way, but I feel like all other teams are getting better. So maybe we can. I mix on our defensive tackle situation because I still feel like we can't stop growing. I think we got good pass rushing defensive tackles. I mean, going to a 3-4, maybe that might help, but I don't know. We got our rookie too, so maybe I'm just tripping. But either way, I hope we don't cut Nixon. I hope we either let him just hold in or just trade him. He got to play good if you want to get some money, so I would just talk to him like, hey, this is what it is. We're not going to give you no more money. You can play or find a trade partner. But, all right, go back, though.
Yeah, it's a good thought. I haven't thought of that. I don't know if anyone else has really talked about it. That hasn't really come across my radar either personally or on social media or anything else. Sorry about the nonstop stomping. I'll say this. I don't think there's any world where we would get a 2nd for him. I think maybe a more optimistic view in my mind is like a mid-round pick. If there's any chance, I mean, we got rid of Rasul for like a 4th, which I was kind of shocked by. I think it was a 4th. That was pretty high in my opinion. If we can get something like that, even a 5th is not terrible. I don't think it happens. I mean, I think the Packers are going to be happy with the situation, obviously, with the depth. They may want to rotate different people in different situations, but again, you lose Valentine, you lose Keisean, you lose C-Say, you lose Bullard even. If we lose Bullard, who's the backup? Not to say we don't have one, but I think the absolute best case scenario is we slot Keisean right back into the slot, and then we got C-Say and Valentine on the boundary. So I think the Packers would probably go that way, but it is an interesting question. Would the Packers consider it? Because that's what they said about Rasul. They weren't even really planning it, and then a deal came along that they felt they couldn't refuse. If Cissay's looking real good and Valentine's looking solid, obviously Bullard is Bullard and he's going to be where he is. And somebody comes along and they're like, hey, seems like you got an extra guy over there. What if we throw a fourth at you? What if we throw a third at you? Again, pretty unlikely in my mind, but if they offer that thing that just feels too good to refuse for somebody that is to some degree expendable, it's worth at least, like I like to say, put it in our back pocket and we can revisit that. I like it because it's one of those things where if it were to happen, if Keisean, in a month or something were to get traded, I'd be sitting here going, why didn't I think of that? So it's a good thought at least. Garrett, what you got going on?
Hey, Ryan. Welcome back from vacation.
Thank you.
Hope you didn't have to reach around and threaten the kids too many times with don't make me pull this car over threat.
There were quite a few.
So hopefully everything went smooth. Been holding off making a real call till a couple days into training camp. I haven't let myself watch any highlight videos or anything so that I can make a unbiased phone call to ask you a question regarding, if you don't mind, maybe make an analysis of all of the drafted players from this year and give us your thought on what's the percentage that player could be a starter this season. Because if you look right down the row and you start with Cissay, and then you go to McLennan, and then DDS, and then Yager, you've got 4 potential guys I think have at least a chance in camp to prove himself to be a potential starter. But I was just wondering who do you give the best chances to be that starter this year? So I'll withhold sharing who I think it is until at least I get a few days into it, and we'll see who starts making a splash in camp.
Yeah, so I guess the couple caveats I would say, first of all, are we saying week 1 or are we saying anytime during the season? And then the second thing would be, like McClellan, when we say starter, are we saying like top 2 defensive tackle or some kind of, because McClellan's going to play. He's going to be in that rotation. Where in that rotation, I don't know. He could be the 3rd guy, the 4th guy, the 5th guy, I don't know. But he'll get some snaps out there. Same with Dennis Sutton. I mean, at worst, when Micah's not there, he's going to be number 4. So he's going to be out there with the 2s. He's going to be in that rotation. So, I mean, if we're talking about getting some playing time, Cissay is about 100%. McClellan's about 100%. Sutton's about 100%. Burton, I mean, there's, well, yeah, I can't even guarantee he's next man up on injuries because right now he's not. I mean, let's put it this way. Let's not say injuries. I would put it at right now like 5%. There's just been no movement on that whatsoever. We have an offensive line in place. I think the Packers are happy with their offensive line. I just don't say it's possible, and we'll see when the pads go on, but he's got a lot of work to do to win one of those spots. Damani Jackson, very, very low. Let's go back and be a little bit more serious about it. If we're talking actually having the starting gig, Cissay, honestly, I'd put probably closer to 50%. He's going to play at some point, but again, we got to just see how this thing plays out. I mean, right now, I think it's Nixon and Valentine. I think they want Nixon out there. I think they're trying to push him to take Valentine's job, would be my guess. Do I think he's going to do it? Yeah, probably. But again, I'm gonna let it sit. If we're talking, let's just say week 1, I'll call it 50%. McClellan in the top 4-ish rotation, I'd have to look at who we have there, but relatively high percentage. I don't think he has a chance to be in the top 2. So he just kind of is what he is. He's going to be in the rotation. He's not going to be one of the top guys in the rotation. Sutton, I think, is more of a question mark. If we're talking prior to Micah, could he end up being the guy opposite Lucas Van Ness? Maybe I put it at 20-ish%. It's relatively low considering I don't really like Baron Sorrell so far. I mean, I like Baron Sorrell, but he hasn't done anything really so far. But, I mean, he's been pretty locked into that spot. So it is 100% his job right now. Sutton's going to have to step up and kind of wow some people to, make some kind of a change. Again, Burton, like 5% to actually win a starting job. Damani Jackson, I mean, I don't know, 1%. If we're not, again, we're not talking injuries. Very, very, very low percentage. Trace Mack, probably, I don't know, 95 to 97 to 99%. It's not 100, but it is unbelievably high. So, I mean, it is a pretty good draft class in terms of like who's not going to play. Probably Burton and Jackson. And I would almost expect to see Burton just because, guys are going to go down, guys are going to get hurt. And he might be, I think there's pending injuries. We'll have to see how he's doing, but he might be next man up. I don't know. But that's kind of what he's fighting for. Either way, I think this is a good class in terms of these guys are going to get field time as a percentage.
So, Ryan, I saw posted just a few days ago something that was very interesting and eye-opening that I thought you might want to highlight real quick. And that is the fact that last season there was 0 snaps that we saw Watson, Kraft, and Reed play on the field. 0. And obviously, Watson didn't start the season, Kraft didn't finish the season, and Reed started the season but didn't play hardly at all until the very end of the season. So not seeing those 3 guys on the field at the same time just tells me that this offense, the potential is just mind-boggling because I don't know what the rating was for Green Bay, but I'm pretty sure it was a top 5 offense last year. And I think Carson actually hinted about it when he went over the whole NFC North about he didn't think that Green Bay may be able to match that. And I kind of disagree because looking at who they were playing without last year, and despite that, Jordan Love was able to put up really good numbers. I think they actually could be better, including the fact that if you've got a healthy Marshawn Lloyd backing up, Josh Jacobs, you have what potentially could be a better offensive line than last year. I think this team actually could do better than that. I think they can be in that top 5 if everybody's healthy. And this team, I think the sky's the limit to what this team could do offensively. Now, defensively, of course, it all hinges on when does Parsons come back. But this team, like you mentioned several times, the defense was good before Parsons ever even was added to this team. So who knows what Gannon can do with this team. I think it'll take a little while to mesh with his system. But I think if this offense can come out firing big time, the defense just needs to be, middle of the road until they, get their feet under them. So I want to throw that out there because overall, this team, the sky's the limit for both sides.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've specifically highlighted exactly that, but I've tried to make that point. I mean, I feel like daily, almost to some degree. The idea that we were a roughly top 5 offense, and it was a mess. Jordan Love has never been under pressure more. Our run game, I don't know that it has ever been that bad in a very long time, certainly since Jordan Love got here. He didn't have Tucker. He didn't have Watson. He didn't have Reed for extended periods of time. It was a mess. And yet it was still an incredible offense, which big part of the reason why Jordan does not get nearly as much credit as he should. And so you can't guarantee anything, but it's sort of a common sense position to say that they're going to be better with all the pieces than without the pieces, with a healthy offensive line compared to an unhealthy offensive line, with all your guys compared to none of your guys. And that doesn't even get into, again, I genuinely believe, in fact, I'll take it up a notch. I not only believe Golden is going to be an upgrade over Dobbs, I think Savion is going to be an upgrade over Wicks. They're different types of players, but I mean, Savion, you could tell Matt LaFleur was taking a liking to him, and he was starting to get more opportunities than Golden last year. That was, frustrating for some, but I was kind of excited. That was interesting that they really liked him and wanted to get him more opportunities, and now he jumped from wide receiver like 7 to wide receiver 4 or 6 to 4 or whatever. So if he was getting opportunities last time, when there was all that weird stuff with him, he's wearing the red jersey and all that, it didn't seem like he was going to get hardly any opportunities whatsoever, and they started getting him involved as a wide receiver 6 with that's a rookie that didn't get a lot of opportunities in training camp compared to like some of the other guys. So I'm very excited about him. I'm excited about the wide receiver group. Yes, injuries are going to happen. I have to assume we're going to be healthier than last year in that group at least. So I can't fathom that we're worse with people being healthy. Again, it's not impossible, but it's not the most rational position to have. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ryan, TJ from Alabama. Hey, it's good to hear that the crew's starting to get back together. Callers starting to come back. That's all good. And, Packers hitting the field for training camp. It's just a good time of year. And here in the next week or so, I'll be pining for the season to start.
Yep.
I'll be pining for the preseason, but then, after a half of the preseason or the first half of the first preseason game, it's like, all right, that's good. Let's get on to the real season. But it feels good. It's a good time of year, and really excited about. I'm always excited about the Packers, but really excited about the Packers. Interested in the defense, like what's going to happen with the defense. But really excited about the offense. And yeah, we always need help, but if we could just see Watson, Golden, Reed, Kraft, Love, Jacobs, Marshawn, if let's just see how that looks
right
with all those dudes.
Yeah, I mean, again, we always injuries are a part of the game. I mean, yeah, but not really. I mean, how many other teams are just like, oh, they just never have their starting offensive weapons on the field? The Bengals, they got that great duo, but let's be honest, they're never on the field. It's not really a thing. I mean, there's been injuries, but it's not one of those like, yeah, I mean, they're really good, but you can't expect them to be healthy or anything, It's not a thing.
On the field at the same time. And obviously Jacobs and Marshawn probably at the same time, but you get the gist. And just seeing that, I'm really looking forward to that. Just give me competent offensive line play. And I think we get there if Tom is playing. And, a little concerned about Banks. I'm with you there. I haven't seen it, but I have high hopes that Belton will be, average to mediocre this year. And if the offensive line is just decent with the weapons we have, boy, I think we could have fun. Yeah. And then this may be a repeat because I mentioned it on a previous call, but I didn't hear it on Packernet that time, so I'm not sure. Whatever, doesn't matter. But because I didn't hear it, I just think it's hilarious. So if it's a repeat, I apologize. If it's not a repeat, I think it's hilarious that the Chicago City Stadium, Alderman have approved $425 million to support the Chicago Fire. I think that's just beautiful. The Chicago Bears have been looking for stadium support from everywhere in Illinois for the past 7 years, and they can't even get the city to not go on vacation. They cannot get the city to support them with Taco Bell coupons, but the Chicago Fire get $425 million, and I think that's beautiful. So go Fire. Well done, Chicago. Support your Bears. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, that is absolutely hilarious. I always come back to that song, "Nobody Loves You." I mean, it just becomes more and more obvious every single time that they are just not a desirable entity. You know, I mean, I guess Indiana loves them, but we'll see how that goes. We already came back from a break, right, Uncle Rico? Is that correct?
Yo, Ryan, it's your Uncle Rico.
What up?
Hey, training camp started. That's cool. I didn't even know that happened. Like 3 days ago, I think, 2 or 3. So today is Friday, and anyway, I'm listening to the pod, and it's a week old. So you're talking about the Wyatt signing and the fan comments, or obviously not fan comments, social media comments. I wouldn't say they're fans. The negative ones. And I'm curious why anybody would bother to look, care, or comment on a player signing if it's not your team. Like other teams saying negative shit about the Packers signing Wyatt. What do they care? Well, I don't get it. First of all, they don't know shit about the Packers, and they don't know shit about Wyatt, and they don't know shit about the finances, but they're commenting on it because I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I had some comments like when the Rams traded Jared Verse. I mean, I didn't comment on it. I had thoughts on it. Like, that was stupid. But to me, that's different. I mean, if the Packers were just dump somebody, like if they cut Christian Watson and other teams commented like that was wild or whatever, I guess. But it's not even like we picked Devontae Wyatt up. He's already on the team. He's been on the team, and their other team fans are commenting on how much we're paying him. I don't get it. What do they care? They don't know nothing about it in the first place, and why do they care? All right then. Right. Oh, anyways, I mean, the people in the Packers front office know who they got to pay and how much they got to pay them, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't, as with every single team in the league. Everyone. Some are hits, some are misses, some don't get a nickel out of it because they hurt themselves in training camp, blah, 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 whatever, you know. But I just don't know why any fan of another team cares about the Packers' finances. All right, then. Rico out. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have a problem with taking shots at rivals or whatever. I just think people, it's an overused or overplayed hand, in that most people don't know what they're talking about. Like you said, I think that probably was the best way to say it, is everybody's going to pay their guys. That's just the way it goes. And, I mean, the only real evaluation you could make is, number one, an overpay. If you wanted to come out and say, holy overpay for Aaron Banks, you got me there. I can't, if a Bears fan or Vikings fan or Lions fan or frickin' Chiefs fan wanted to say that, I really wouldn't fire back. I get it. I agree that was an overpay. That was dumb. But the vast majority, I mean, it's really just anytime anyone pays anybody anything. It's, because again, unless it's a blue chip player, I can't believe you paid them. That's not how it works. You have to pay people or you won't have a football team. And the point is, you just don't pay them blue chip money. And then you don't need to have blue chip expectations for the player. Oh, I can't believe you paid him that much. Yeah, because you're stupid and you think that's a lot of money. I don't know how to help you with that, honestly. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with the category of rivals trashing bad contracts, but I think normie fans don't have a good enough understanding of things to be able to pull that lever and not look stupid, I guess is the problem. So it ends up being kind of dumb. And I've said that there is something to, well, now you're paying people and all that kind of stuff, but that doesn't really apply to the Packers. That applies to teams like the Bears or the Lions who have been bad forever, and then they have a lot of success for the first time, and that's great, but there's another level. Now you're going to have to start paying people, and now there's another question of, can you handle this? Do you know how to? Do you have guys in place that are good enough to manage a team that has a constrained salary cap and really has to manage a salary cap in a difficult way? You don't have to do that when you have $100 million in free money. You know what I mean? It's really not that big of a deal. And a lot of teams can't do it, and they that's why they the ebb and flow. They hit the peak and then they start coming back down. It's a difficult thing to maintain. The Packers know how to do that very obviously. If there's any team in the entire NFL that has demonstrated they understand how to manage a team's salary cap, it's the Green Bay Packers. So even that card, And again, I pull that card for the Bears and Lions, but it's just it's not a matter of how high you're going to suck now. It's a matter of, let's see if you can do it. Let's see if you can do it.
Howdy, this is Jared, soon-to-be bus driver, studying my CDL test now. And does hearing the Tucker Kraft news about being activated from the pup at 8.5 months, I know it's 2 weeks early and still training camp and whatever.
Here it comes.
Does that bring any hope that maybe Micah will be activated? Obviously not during the offseason.
I'm assuming you've all heard this, but if not, go back and find the podcast. This is where my mind went when I saw that. And I went on a whole diatribe. I did new math, and bottom line, yes.
But around, not maybe 8 but like, instead of that strictly 9 months, maybe 8 months and 3 weeks, and then depending on how he looks, do you think this has any ramification with the idea that he won't be able to practice until that specific week?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my question for the day. Hope you had a good little vacay, and go Pack Go.
Yeah, so thank you, by the way. That was my exact thought, because I was operating under a couple assumptions. Number one, there is zero practice until the 9-month mark, right? Not just zero game time, but zero practice. And I know the media had been trying to hammer down that question. I don't know that it was fully answered, but the assumption by everybody seemed to be, yes, that means practice too. Okay. So you can't even practice until 9 months. And then after that, the Packers always take the full 3 weeks, always, with very minor exceptions like Christian doing 2 weeks and 6 days or some nonsense. But they take the full 3 weeks after that. So it's really like 9 months and 3 weeks until we're going to see him again. If you're now saying that it's possible to start practicing at 8.5 months, and I understand that he's not in pads and he's not doing all that kind of stuff, but it does, because as I said on the podcast where I talked about this, they're obviously not going to be careless, but there is an urgency here to get him on the field as soon as is humanly possible. And so, again, the biggest thing is all these things that were supposedly 100% true are no longer 100% true. And so now if we have flexibility in those numbers, what does that mean? And so it doesn't guarantee anything. I think it just bumps the percentages quite a bit higher when you start talking about, let's say prior to that Dallas game, I think is the one I said, or if it was Dallas or the week after, I can't remember, that I was kind of expecting him back. The odds that he's back, for example, for the Bears game went way up in my mind. And maybe this is all fake, I don't know, but it went up. And then, the potential for even earlier, if we really push this thing. Like I said, I don't know that it's impossible, for example, for like week 2 or 3. Just depending on how they really want to twist this thing. And again, that would obviously require him to not be on PUP. But, that's getting a little bit more on the dreamy side. But again, this is a massive shift in my understanding of how this all works. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Ryan, this is Nico from Idaho. How was your trip? Hope it was fun. We've had like fires in Oregon and all the smoke is blowing over and just nestling right into our beautiful city. It's awesome.
That sounds bad.
Not really, but anyways, just calling to pat myself on my back a little because it looks like you are now on my side of thinking, you know what, Micah probably could be back by the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the timeline you laid out is perfect. Literally was my timeline. The problem is we didn't have them breaking the rules on Tucker Kraft up until now, which I know they say there's a 9 month, but 9 month rule, whatever. There's no 9 month rule. There's a rule that says when you're ready to go and it's been long enough time for your knee to heal.
Well, and that was kind of my question because is there a test or not? All right, because we can say, like, you know, as long as your knee is okay. Well, I mean, his knee has been okay. He's been playing pickleball and doing all kinds of crazy stuff for months now. But we're not going to bring him back in 6 months. So the confusing part about it is, to me, it seems to be that they're not basing this on what a doctor says or anything, because he's basically cleared already for the most part. And probably will be cleared if he hasn't already, very, very soon. But the point is there's historical data on the 9 month thing, which is why they don't want to violate that. It's not about anything else other than that. And if that's the case, then they're never going to violate that. Unless there is some kind of an actual test that they're doing. But if that's the case, then why would you even say the 9 months? Who cares about the 9 months? It's about passing this particular test. So I do believe that they mean what they say about the 9 months. The biggest question for me, though, was, is it possible that he plays on that 9 months? Because he's been practicing for the 2 weeks prior, et cetera, so that by the time it comes around, he's out there. That, I think, is probably the most probable thing that became possible that wasn't before. Prior to that is a little bit more iffy, but, you know, that September 29th being out there in and around, you know, I forget, let me look at the stupid calendar again. Yeah, so, I mean, September 29th, he could be out there for the Buccaneers game. He could potentially be out there for the Falcons game, which is week 3. But, you know, again, the easiest thing to do is just put him out there on PUP, I suppose. He's down for the first 2 weeks. He starts practicing against the Falcons, which is right at about the 9 months. So he practices the Falcons, practices Buccaneers. He's back for the Bears. Because you got to remember, the team, there's a big difference between the 9. There's 2 things here. There's the 9 months, and then there's the 3 weeks once you've been, you know, activated or whatever. So what everybody's been looking at is, well, PUP won't end until after week 4. So you got Vikings, Jets, Falcons, Bucks. Then there's 3 weeks. So that would be Bears, Cowboys, Lions. So he won't be back to the Panthers game. That's where this whole like middle of the season thing came from. Okay, but if the team has been hammering 9 months, have they been hammering that you have to take the full 3 weeks after? I don't think so. And so, again, 9 months would be September 29th. That's around week 3. We don't play the Bears till week 5. So we're not violating the 9 month rule. It's not even close to violating the 9 month rule if he plays immediately off of PUP. And that's, again, assuming he goes on PUP. Right? I mean, if he's not on PUP and they let him practice at 8.5 months, now we're talking about like week 1, he starts practicing. So now, I mean, you could argue that he could, whatever. I mean, he could practice for 3 weeks. Vikings, Jets, Falcons, that's his 3 weeks. That's like his 21-day freaking window. And he's back for the Buccaneers game. Or he could practice for 2 weeks and he's back for the Falcons game. So it just opens up a lot of things when we go from it has to 100% be this to not necessarily. And again, he could come back for that Falcons game, and it's not really violating the 9-month thing. I mean, it's about 5 days. If that's too much, fine. Then the Buccaneers game. That is after 9 months. So it's not a question of like, oh, well, we'd have to skirt around the 9-month thing. No, we don't. The only games in question prior to 9 months are Vikings, Jets, Falcons. That's it. And there is a new rule in 2026 that you're allowed to practice on PUP. So whereas before you had to activate them, then you get 3 weeks. This would be off IR or whatever, but it would have worked as far as PUP. He'd have to be down for 4 weeks, no practice, then he would be off. So the fact that he's got 2 weeks now means there's a very good chance that as soon as he's off PUP, if he even goes on PUP, he's ready to go.
Good to go. I guarantee you, after 8.5 months, Micah's bad knee that he messed will be stronger than his other knee. He may not have the confidence in it yet. As someone who snapped a patella tendon, I didn't partially tear it. I snapped that sucker. It rolled up into above my kneecap like a frickin' wad of bacon. It was very gross. I could tell you that, I don't know how I got that. But anyways, yeah, exactly. Just the timeline you laid out was perfect. And the biggest, like I said, the biggest reason why I had that feeling is because when Wildy was explaining this to Couch, and Couch acted like he doesn't know the rules, and maybe he didn't because they probably didn't have tough rules when he played football. He was like, get out there, you're fine.
Right.
But he goes, 9 months? 9 months after week 2? He's like, he'll be back by the Bears. That's the first thing he said. And he didn't even want to, debate it. No, it'd be fine. Because he knows. Coucher knows. They might say one thing, but I guarantee you.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know because, like you said, it was a different time. And part of the data is about guys like Adrian Peterson or whatever that came back really early and it damaged their careers long term. So they would have changed this policy. But beyond that, we know because we can look at the most recent examples, and every single example has been what we've said. They've never violated the 9-month rule in a period of time or whatever. And then also the 3 weeks after they get activated. Because again, I was like, that's bullcrap. Of course they've done it at some point. They didn't. So, again, I think that there's some flexibility here because of the PUP rules and all that kind of stuff that'll allow them to stick with, for example, again, the 9 months. The Bears game does not violate that. I wouldn't go so far as to say that the 9-month thing is fake or whatever. I don't think it is. Is it possible they violated it a little bit because they're panicking? Maybe. I don't think they should because they don't necessarily have to, but it is possible. I guess I would just say let's leave our in both directions. I would leave our options open. It is possible they shut him down for 4 weeks, and it's possible that he's not really doing any padded practices or anything until after that, and they do go out for 3 weeks, and we don't see him for whatever. That's still a possibility, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's all pointing in a positive direction, though. That's the good thing.
As long as he doesn't have any, bad stuff happen in his rehab, which it doesn't appear to be, because the dudes are out there playing pickleball and stuff, that he should be fine by then. And yeah, it's just a procedure of, him being on the top. I was actually, when I called that last time, I was actually going to say we don't even know if he's going to be put on the PUP list. But
Yep.
that would have been absolutely hearsay because.
Well, I mean, I had said that many times.
When I called you, it was right after Micah Parsons' brother tweeted that he wasn't coming back till 2035 and he's going to miss 7 years, and everyone was freaking out like the sky is falling, which literally is exactly what that's like because this dude running around saying the sky is falling.
Oh, 3 minutes. Nico, part 2.
Look at me, not even paying attention to the time. But literally, it was like the sky is falling Chicken Little because in the end, the sky wasn't falling. So all these people saying he's not coming back till week 10. Yeah. Go eat a stupid sandwich. You're stupid. Retarded. All those words that we can now say. Also, there's some people like, well, he had 2 procedures. He had his ACL repaired and then he had some cleanup. Like, okay. You do understand that first of all, whatever cleanup he had probably isn't as long of a rehab and time off as his ACL repair. But you do understand that those injuries don't go in there and be like, hey, ACL, yeah, I'm clean up. I'm a little clean up here. I'm just going to wait till you heal. No, they heal at the same time. People are dumb. Anyways, I just wanted to call people stupid on a public forum that's broadcast over the airwaves. I
believe me, I understand.
So, other than me feeling like I have lung cancer now because I've been living in a smoke bowl for the last week and a half.
Yeah, thanks, Cam.
I've been doing good. It is hotter than insert hot items.
So hot.
And the smoke doesn't help. My job, I actually work in the evening, in the outsides, under the sun. And it can be hot, but I chose that job, so I'm not complaining, not at all. I don't answer to a corporate single hopper, so I'm good. I'm good. Anyways, I'm glad you got back. I will say, I'm like everyone else. I love training camp until it starts, and then it's dumb, and then season until it starts, and then it's dumb. I do miss when you would read the little. The Twitter logs of all the different Packer correspondents that are...
Good news for you, that's literally exactly what I've been doing every single day. Nico, do you know I still post my podcast, right? You've made numerous comments that lead me to believe you have not listened to my podcast since last year or something. It's like the third or fourth comment where you missed that. Yeah, every single training camp, that's exactly what I've done, so... Get on that, Nico.
Watching the training camp. I do miss when you'd read that, so if you could just do that, that would be great.
Every day.
Other than that, I went the wrong one. Other than that, sir, you have a wonderful day, and go back home.
Thank you. Yep. Again, every day, been doing that. It's been a good time. Today, obviously not so much because there isn't any, but tomorrow they got shells, and then Monday they got pads. It's kind of like you're saying, I've gotten better at it. I actually do enjoy it all the way through, as opposed to, you get excited and then you're like, okay, this is dumb, but pads will be great, and then pads come and you're like, okay, this is dumb, and then it's like, okay, well the freaking family night's gonna be awesome, and then you're like, okay, well that was kind of lame, but freaking the joint practices, that's gonna be awesome, and then it's a little better, but it's still kind of dumb. But the preseason, that's where it's at. And then you watch a preseason, it's like, okay, this is stupid. We just need the regular season to get here. Or the 53, that's going to be fun. And then you do it, and you're like, well, the only people that are, these people don't matter in the regular season. So let's just get to the regular season. Then you get to the regular season, and it doesn't matter because it's week 1, and it's dumb, and that doesn't count. And what really counts is after week 4. And then mid-season, then it's, well, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. It's the end of the season. And then the end of the season is it's all the playoffs are all that matter. And then the playoffs come, and it doesn't. That's why you got to just enjoy all of it, okay? Just enjoy all of it. Everything. Be grateful for it. There is a month-and-a-half period of hell, and we're not in it. And so enjoy it. Every little word. Feel free to overreact to every little thing like I've done with Cisse, and I have not been a Cisse guy. Kind of like with Watson. I was unsure of Watson. I didn't really know what to do with Watson. I knew he could be good, but I was kind of like, maybe in a couple of years. And then I just flipped. Now, that was a little different. That was regular season watching him on the field. But there was just a couple tweets, and it just something just overtook me, and that's rare for me. That doesn't usually happen for me. But I got the spirit, I got that fan thing that happens where you just kind of plant your flag and you're like, you know what? He's going to be good. And I don't give a crap what anybody says. That guy's going to be good. So, and again, that is the case with Golden and a little bit Savion as well. So I'm claiming them also. I will remind a lot of people I don't have the greatest track record with planting my flags. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Musgrave, for example, fantastic example of somebody I don't know if I so much planted my flag as I really liked him, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Very excited. And again, Nico, go back and you can find every single day going through every single play, every single tweet, every single message, every single everything. And I will continue doing that starting again tomorrow because it's 3 days on, 3 days off, et cetera, et cetera. So, anywho, I'm going to leave it at that. We just have 2 calls from Garrett. So get your calls in, and we'll keep it rocking and rolling. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.